Hey everybody, I'm B. Jermaine, aka The Terrible Australian at supermarcy.com, and welcome to my video review of the new Australian comedy drama PAWNO. So let's get right into it. Honestly, as a lot of people already know, and I've probably stated this many times in the past, not just in my video reviews here, but also in my written reviews, in regards to Australian films. I'm a big fan of Australian films, and I always try to go out and support every single one that is being released in the cinemas. And with this film, PAWNO, which is sort of a multi-character comedy drama that sort of follows the lives of a whole bunch of different people, centered in Footscray here in Melbourne, in one day. That's mainly sort of set around sort of a pawn shop. So, in that regard, that in a way sort of really interested me when I sort of read up about the film, because I actually love films that have a multiple character cast, because films, like Robert Altman and Paul Thomas Anderson and a whole bunch of other films out there that have a big sort of massive multi-character big cast, and that's a film that sort of centers on a whole bunch of characters, particularly if they're sort of set around one day or one location and all that. That kind of, in that regard, that's what made me really interested in checking out this film, besides it being an Australian film, of course. I remember sort of hearing about PAWNO back in, where actually it played at the Melbourne International Film Festival, and when I sort of heard that it actually got a lot of good buzz from the festival, I thought, I'll definitely check this out when it gets released. Now that it's finally released, and now having finally seen it, I will say this though, there are a lot of good things about it that I quite like, but unfortunately I didn't feel like it was as good as it could have been. It definitely feels like it does have some problems, and I think one of the main problems of the film, at least for me, it is, I feel like sort of the cast, even though it's kind of a mixed bag overall. Like, you got some really good actors in it, like John Brumpton, Maeve, Dermody, Mark Cole-Smith, Kerry, Armstrong, who all give sort of solid performances in this film. But there's also some other actors in the film that kind of give really average performances as well, particularly Damian Hill, who also wrote the film. So, and he's like the second lead of the film next to John Brumpton's character. But unfortunately, Damian Hill, his performance is a bit of a mixed bag. At times he's on, and other times he's off as well. So in that regard, the acting is kind of all over the place. You've got your good performances, but also some pretty average ones as well. And also, I kind of felt like the film never really finds that sort of tonal balance when it came to sort of the tone of the film. Because it is a comedy drama, but the thing is though, when it's sort of funny, it gets like really broad and whatnot. But when it sort of comes to the drama side, it's like really full-on serious. So and it feels sort of tonally jarring in that regard, and it never really sort of finds that perfect balance sort of between comedy and drama that doesn't feel like heavy-handed either way. So, and also the script. Damian Hill, like I said before, wrote the script, and there are some really good elements to the script, and I like the fact that you kind of introduce these whole bunch of characters, and sort of during the course of the film, you think when you introduce them, it's those type of characters. But as sort of the film goes along with some of the characters, we kind of get to learn a bit more about them, and we kind of realize there's actually a lot more to them than we think there is. Than we thought there is, and also where some of these characters kind of end up in terms of the story, they go to unexpected places. Like, particularly even Damian Hill's character, who I thought he was just going to be, his character was going to be one way at the beginning, but then by the end of the when you sort of see sort of certain revelations with his role, then you think, oh, okay, that's interesting in that regard. And I like the fact that the film sort of did that, like sort of kept you at least surprised in the sort of direction of where it's going with some of the characters in the story. But unfortunately though, when it came to sort of the plots, the many subplots in the film, and each character's own individual story and whatnot, I felt like some are more developed than others. Like, there are some that are developed quite well, and actually feel very satisfying as a whole, but there are others that kind of get shortchanged a lot, and some of them could have easily have just been cut out of the film because they don't really add anything to them. Or at least with some of them, they kind of start off really strong, but then as the film goes along, they just completely forgot about it, and then once the film gets to the end, it sort of wraps up everyone's story. That's kind of the first time we've seen them since probably maybe the first act or so. And also, like I said, some of the subplots just don't really go anywhere. Like Kerry Armstrong, Kerry Armstrong is a wonderful actress. She was so good in Lantana and a bunch of other films and TV shows and whatnot. Her subplot just goes nowhere, pretty much. And there's sort of an emotional story as well in terms of her character. But yeah, I just felt like that one in particular it just felt really underdeveloped, and it could have easily just been taken out as well. And which is a shame because, like I said, some subplots are better than others. But yeah, I think some of them could have easily been developed more because the film itself only goes for like a bit over 80 minutes, and that includes credits. Like, the film could have easily have been at least maybe 15-20 minutes longer, just so that it could have expanded on some of these characters and their stories and whatnot. But I don't know. I don't know whether it was just written to be a very small... I mean, it is a sort of an independently made Australian film, so I kind of wish that the script could have been more developed, and sort of the performances could have been a bit better as well. So, like, it is a watchable film. I wasn't bored by it at all, and, this is a film that, some people will enjoy as well, but I didn't feel like... I just felt like it could have been better, and it just sort of ends up to sort of being... It could have been great, but it just sort of ends up being sort of a watchable, if rather average film overall. So, if I have to give PAWNO a rating, I give it 2.5 stars. So yeah, that's the end of my video review of PAWNO. I hope you guys all enjoyed it, and I'll see you all later. See you everyone. Bye.